Friends, hello, hope you are well. I really do mean that. It's Tuesday in the market, and finally we saw a little bit of a pullback today in the market, obviously because tomorrow is the doom day. Tomorrow we will be having inflation reports. So we're actually, I think a lot of us are expecting inflation to be a little up, which could be good in the sense that finally we see some sell-off in the market and it leaves opportunity to buy back in. So, and this is a good situation. So it's bad because inflation's happening, but it's good too because finally the market will pull back a tad. But that's kind of what I want to talk about with Pltr and Sofi here. Going into 2025, it's very important that we set ourselves up for strong, good investments going into this year, and that's what you want to be a part of. And especially, you want to be a part of exciting growth stocks that are going to be doing a lot in this year. And Pltr and Sofi are two of those stocks that really are they're going to be solid going into 2025. They've shown what they can do. They've shown what they're going to be doing. And there's really no cap on what they're going to be bringing here this whole year. Side note, I'll talk about SoundHound later, but SoundHound just released quarterlies when I'm making this video. Quarterlies are good. So SoundHound, that's a rock solid investment into the future right there with an AI stock that is still highly, highly cheap. So anytime you can get that stock under $6 or under, that is something you really need to do there. But let's go right into Pltr. So I don't want to make this like a long video. I really don't, but just kind of get the feelers out there with what's going on. So a lot of articles are coming out, and they're putting and this is changing every week, especially every quarterly that we're seeing right now with Pltr, Sofi as well, but Pltr more than not right now. That's the main topic because Pltr keeps beating expectations. Pltr keeps just breaking records of what it's supposed to do. I just 6 months ago people were going, do you think Pltr is going to go to $30? Do you think it's going to keep $30? Well, it went to $35. Can it make it to $40? So we just keep having these conversations that just keep getting a little more out of control. And now that we're at $60, the conversations, well, can we go to 70? And of course we're going to 70. I mean, that's going to happen. Pltr is probably in this growth spurt right now to where it's just going to keep beating expectations right now because why? It keeps getting big contracts. It keeps getting billion-dollar contracts. I mean, most AI companies, they're trying just to get $1 billion throughout the whole year. Pltr is getting one deal that's worth $1 billion. Okay, so that's why you're seeing it grow at such a fast rate right now. We finally saw some pullback today in Pltr. The stock, essentially all it didn't do was go past 60. So even today, with a little bit of a slow market, Pltr, people weren't budging. People were not selling. I think people are just in this realm right now where they're scared to sell. They're scared to sell Pltr. And we're seeing a lot of that with NVIDIA where people are like, I'm going to hold on to my NVIDIA shares because I know what's coming here. And that's what we're seeing with Pltr. And this is how stocks remain expensive and when they start and how they keep growing so fast because people don't want to get rid of them, and then when the stock just kind of remains the same and good news keeps coming out, people keep buying back in, and it just keeps progressing, and soon enough, this is why you have Pltr. This time last year, it was at what did we start the year off at? $19. $20 pretty much, and now we're at $60. So a huge markup there, and by January, getting into the new year, when we know the market's going to be going crazy here in January when we have the inauguration of Trump, we know that more than likely a lot of these AI stocks are going to go nuts. And Pltr, if it hasn't already busted into a $65 range or a $70 range at that point, it's going to at least do it by then. I mean, that's probably a solid bet right there. Just off FOMO, just off of hype, just off investor relations of people being excited going into the new year. So, the question is, do I buy, do I hold? And obviously, I didn't say the word sell because even these analysts right now, all these articles, they're like, I would hold this stuff. No one is talking about selling Pltr. I mean, no one's talking about selling Pltr. I used to see a lot more negative comments, with people saying like it's overpriced, it's overvalued. And, it's kind of hard to say that now with all the deals that keep happening and all the, situations that are occurring right now with Palantir. Not to mention they have a fantastic CEO who is very out in the open about what they're doing. So, buy or wait. Obviously, hold is the general consensus right now with Palantir. But, even I'm going like, do I buy at $60? Because I want to buy more. I want to, I'm going to be completely honest. As long as Palantir is under $100, I'm probably going to be buying it. And a lot of people are going, $100? Friends, if you're holding Palantir for like the next 5-10 years, $100 is going to bypass us pretty soon, okay? I remember reading articles in February of this year where people were saying, Palantir probably by 2020, 2030 will probably be at $60 a share. It's almost Turkey Day. It's November of that same year, and we're about to go into $70, okay? We get one more good week in the market here, and Palantir has one more deal made before the end of the year, some good news around the corner. Palantir is going to shoot up to $70. What Palantir has captured at this point, it's captured the FOMO with it as well. It's priced in what it's doing, but it's also as well, it's got hype around it. It's got, I don't want to miss out around it right now, where people are just like, I'm just going to keep buying it. I'm just going to keep buying it because they know it's going to get more expensive, and this is what happens when there's not a lot of food at the table. People just hoard it and they keep taking it, and soon, all the little pieces, they're gone. And this is what we're seeing right now. So if Palantir sold to back to a $45 range, I personally would start loading up on it. I'm sitting here hoping it goes back to 40. I'm hoping it has a bad sell-off day. I'm hoping because I want to buy more. But and I don't say that to be like mean towards it. When I say stuff like that, people go like, well, that's not fair to people. When something sells off, something that's rock solid, it's an opportunity. If Palantir sells off to $45, it goes down even to 50 at this point. Consider it a blessing. Consider it an opportunity because it probably won't be there long. Right now, Palantir is at a place where we're like, God almighty, we were paying $20 a share for this thing just at the beginning of the year. Before that, we were paying $15 and $10. And now, good God, it's at $60. So, if Palantir sells off, it doesn't mean it's a bad company. Things sell off. They have bad moments. Some article, something, or just people get bored of it. Somebody takes profit. So if Palantir goes back down to $50, consider it a blessing. Consider it, I need to make a move on this right now and put money in there. Listen, Palantir's rock solid. We know Palantir is going to bigger numbers here, okay? This is a stock that you're not going to want to get rid of anytime soon. Palantir is essentially, it's set even for next year. We know the quarterlies just for next year alone, at least going into the middle of the next year, are going to be heavy quarterlies, okay? So it's insane that people would be worrying about Palantir going back down to $30. $30 is gone. Like it's gone. It is gone. You're not going to see $30 again with Palantir. I wish we could, but it's not coming. 40, if we saw a really terrible day in the market, like if tomorrow, inflation reports came out that were just awful, maybe, but that's insane sell-off. What you're seeing right now, we're getting into price zones where it's not just, regular investors. We're getting into situations where big firms are coming in and they're buying up shares of Palantir. They're betting on Palantir. This is what is driving big prices right now in Palantir, where, you've got big investment firms going, all right, we like what's going on over here. We're going to take about 5 million shares of Palantir. that's what's starting to occur here. This is why it's getting very expensive. And then you have all of us, bottom feeders trying to scrape up, 10 shares, 5 shares, 1 share, here, there. That's what's going on here. So listen, I don't know what Palantir is going to sell off to. We had a pretty, I would say, rough day in the market. The S&P 500 finally went under 6,000, but still a very high day compared to what we've been dealing with. Tomorrow will be interesting to see what this inflation report brings, but I don't know. So SoFi, here's what I want to say about SoFi. SoFi is a little bit different. So essentially most things what I say about Palantir is somewhat like SoFi. These companies have been running somewhat similar the past 2 years, and people have been comparing them with each other, and that's been the zeitgeist for a while now. Now, obviously, for the person writing the comment, yes, they're two completely different companies with two completely business models, everything, absolutely. But what I'm talking about is that Palantir was a very cheap stock for a long time, and people were wondering, we knew it was undervalued. Is it ever going to take off? Well, finally, things started to roll here. And SoFi is in that situation right now. We saw it it's doing very similar things to what Palantir did, where, SoFi sat at this $7, $8 range for so long. We were like, we know this is a good company. We know this is something we should be in. And it's a situation where you're just waiting for something to happen. Well, the last few months, something has been happening. We've been dealing with these big deals. Rate cuts are coming in. We've got brand new fresh blood coming into, the market next year for Trump. And, things are starting to really take place. And, that's a lot of what's going to drive the next, market, push here is it's going to be the Trump era going into this, new year with Trump here in the market and where things are going. So, right now, paying $13 a share for SoFi, is very cheap because, even more articles, and listen, I don't invest off articles, but I do like to see what are these guys saying? What's the feelers out there? What is the talk out there in the town of these analysts? You're not really going to find a lot of negative articles right now in SoFi, which is crazy because it's a completely different conversation what was going on 4 months ago. SoFi was in a different situation 4 months ago. We knew everything was good. SoFi was still coming out with great quarterlies. It just wasn't grabbing the attention, and SoFi was dealing with the economy. It was dealing with inflation. It was dealing with who's going to be the president. Where are things going? Because when we get right down to it, SoFi is a bank. And banks always take the most heat with a bad economy. But with that, SoFi is in a different scenario. With these new quarterlies that SoFi just released, the biggest quarterlies they've ever released, plus their customer basis grew to insane numbers, and they're not going to stop. SoFi is going to be a $20 stock here very soon. It's going to be it's growing already at a fast rate, very fast rate. So I'm curious to see if SoFi can have a bad day here and what that bad day is going to be. And tomorrow could be that day. I am hoping, and I'm sitting on the sidelines here with some capital where I want SoFi to go back down to $12. I want it to, selfishly, because once again, I want to unload some more shares in it. It's just a situation of we're in this new realm of this market right now, and I don't know where the market's going. I do think there's going to be some kind of reset in the market. I do think there's going to be some sort of sell-off here. SoFi here was at $4.30 here on the 11th, which was yesterday, which was the all-time high for the last few years. More than that with SoFi here. But the main thing is that SoFi is in a very big growth spurt right now. So SoFi is going to continue to grow on all these numbers, these earnings they've been, releasing, and SoFi has been releasing nonstop good earnings. Not to mention the one it just released was superb with investors, with growth customer basis. Everything down the line, $2 billion deal they just captured, the credit card deal that people just probably forgot about this point. That was like a month and a half ago at this point. Not to mention we're going to have more rate cuts coming. So, things are looking up. The biggest issue right now with everything is job reports and inflation. Those are two key things that are a huge issue in the economy right now. So, but we're banking that things are going to get better here. That's what we're banking on. But either way, SoFi is in a very safe zone. It has enough pushing it to allow it to keep growing here, and people are excited about it, man. This is a very exciting opportunity to get yourself wrapped up into right now. So friends, like I said, I don't want to talk too much. You know how I feel about Palantir. You know how I feel about SoFi, SoundHound. These are things that I am drinking the juice. I'm riding them into the far, far future. I am trying to buy as much Palantir as I can. I am trying to especially buy as much SoFi as I can. You need to probably at least get as much SoFi as you can, because SoFi, the growing rate on SoFi is going to be a lot faster, more than likely, the next 6 months than Palantir. Maybe Palantir's growing real fast too, but where SoFi is sitting at this $13 range right now, SoFi could definitely be at $20 here very soon, and then I imagine it might slow down a little bit, but it's looking for 20. SoFi is looking for 20. It's looking for 2025, and it's going to find it very soon. So with that said, I wish all of you the best of luck. Friends, we'll talk to you tomorrow. We'll see what these inflation reports bring out tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.